Good morning, Surat. Good morning. Good morning. I think the morning coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Let's do it together with full energy. One more time. Good morning, Surat. Still didn't feel the caffeine yet. A little more louder, even though that we are 50 or 100 in number, our voices together can sound like thousands and millions, right? So, one more time with full energy. Good morning, Surat! Lovely, lovely. On that note, I welcome each one of you to the third mega edition of the largest startup summit of India, 21 by 72, organized by IVY Growth Associates. This is Karishma Chandak, your MC for coming 2 days. And as they say, behind every successful event, there's an MC not trying to trip over the microphone wire. So let's get started before I jinx it. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive into innovation-filled, inspiration-filled, insights-filled event for the coming 2 days? Let me check how open you are to learn and unlearn today. Show me by your hands, by your gestures, how open you are to learn and unlearn today. How open? Like how? The width, the dimension of being open. This much, this much, this much. Come on, together everyone. How open you are for learning, grabbing every best opportunity that you'll be getting today. See, there's one very scientific reason why I'm telling you to do this. Bodily, when we are not open, by mind, we can never be open. If we can't open our bodies to learn something, we can't open our minds to learn something either. So I want all of you to open your arms and show how prepared you are to grab the best of the opportunities, insights, learning, and inspiration in the coming 2 days. Come on, together. Together. Yes. Yes. Now take this right hand up. Wave in the air. Take it back. Pat yourself, applaud yourself, because that's what very necessary. Amazing. So on that wonderful, wonderful note, with that readiness, let's dive into our first panel discussion for the day. Gujarat has emerged as a major hub for startups in India, offering a unique combination of resources, talent, and a supportive policy environment that fosters innovation and growth. To explore powering growth of our states, in the startup ecosystem, we have a distinguished set of panel experts who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience. So please help me welcome, with a round of applause, Mr. Kamal Bansal, Managing Director of GVFL Limited. Come on, show some energy as we welcome these panelists on the stage. Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta, CEO of iHub Gujarat. Mr. Ricky Agarwal, co-founder of Blink Digital Private Limited, Mr. Jimish Kapadia, co-founder of Growth Sense and Growth 91, and to moderate this panel, we have Mr. Jatin Kataria, founder and MD of Investa. Also, to add on to that, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Sameer, who is an agency partner lead on Meta India. And we requested him this morning because we have him in our audience, so we cannot miss the opportunity to hear from him. So I invite him on the set of panelists as well. So yes, over to you. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Little louder. Good morning. Superb. So history is getting written today in the name of season 3 at 21 by 72. And I guess long back, we have a history written at the land of Kurukshetra from a Mahabharat perspective. आप सोच रहे होंगे कि ये reference क्यों आ रहा है? Because we have somebody who have a name attached with the Kurukshetra with us. Mr. Kamal Bansal, if you can give a huge round of applause for him. So sir did his studies there, so NIT Kurukshetra and Kurukshetra University, and since that time he is very active into investment ecosystem for quite a long time. And currently, right now, sir is MD of GVFL. If you are aware about investment ecosystem, I guess GVFL is the oldest in the investment ecosystem in India. GVFL started in 1990, and they have an investment portfolio of more than 100 startups. And I guess right now it is your ninth fund. 10th also we have launched. So, superb. So, generally people talk about doing their first fund and second fund. We have somebody who is doing their 10th fund. So, huge round of applause again for Kamal sir for joining with us. We have one more personality on the stage with us, Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta. I guess since long time, one of the oldest ecosystem player in the Gujarat. And not only Gujarat, I guess sir has added value in ecosystem across a lot of states in the country. And I guess majority of the policies and majority of the political people and majority of the top-down things that you are seeing, I guess a lot of credit goes to Hiranmay ji for empowering entire political wing to get into startup ecosystem. Incubating them, of course. And sir is right now heading iHub. He's a CEO of iHub, which is a government of Gujarat initiative under the education department. And if you haven't been to Ahmedabad in iHub, I would suggest that feel free to go there, see what amazing, super crazy thing happening based from Ahmedabad. Hiranmay sir, welcome. A huge round of applause for Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta as well. We have Jimish with us as well on the panel with us. Somebody who comes from a super solid finance background, somebody who joined Yash Bank immediately after his MBA from Symbiosis. And since then, that journey became so long that he eventually became a president at Yes Bank. A huge journey since 2007 to 2021. He worked with Yes Bank all around investments and equity around the company. And after that, he shifted back to Ahmedabad. Very happy to see a Gujarati coming back to Gujarat again to add value into the Gujarat and India ecosystem at large. So they are a micro VC. They have invested into around 80 plus companies, and they do investment of up to 1.5 crore into startups. And he also run a company called Growth Sense and Growth 91, which is into supporting startup and startup ecosystem from all aspect of it. So whenever startups comes with them, they are there with them till the end of the line, I guess. Am I correct? Am I saying it right way? Thanks, Jimish, for joining us. Round of applause for Jimish as well. We have somebody sitting here, Ricky. How many of you are a fan of Kabaddi? Okay. How many of you seen Pro Kabaddi? Okay, so I guess and making people mature in context of new sports, moving cricket fan thing and then moving towards Kabaddi. So entire planning, plotting, branding, designing, thinking, strategizing, everything was done by their company. And not just them, they have amazing clients. So they consult a lot of companies, top management company, Coca-Cola, ITC, Cadbury, and so many. And they take care of their expansion, global expansion from all digital aspect of it. Huge applause for Ricky for joining with us. Somebody who knows how to grow the growth stage companies, I guess. And we... So they have a fund as well, which they are investing in startups. Anyway, we'll touch during the Q&A for sure. We have Samir with us. Samir is from Meta. Who knows about Meta? Foolish questions, right? Okay, so they take care of Indian startups going global. So anybody doing good in India, they align with them and figure it out that which country they should go, how they can go, and all the digital support, and including logistics and warehouse support also they provide wherever in whichever country they are expanding to it. Huge round of applause for Samir as well. So now I guess you have a quick super insight and what kind of people are sitting in this side of the table. We have a super rock solid, amazing panel with us. We'll start with Kamalji only. Kamalji, you've been into Gujarat ecosystem as an organization since quite a long time, 1990, where even people were not even aware. I guess 5 साल से थोड़ा बहुत active हो रहा है awareness का, and you've been here for quite a long time. So I guess you are the pioneer in building the Gujarat startup ecosystem from that perspective as well. If you can share a bit, They don't know how that journey has been for GVFL and how you are adding value to the Gujarat startups and taking them on the bigger aspect as well. It'll be great to hear from you.
Thank you, Jatin bhai. I think we had a long session of introduction also, and by the way, we also got late, half an hour late. Sorry for that because we were traveling from Ahmedabad, so a bit late. Sorry for that, keeping you waiting. As far as GFL is concerned, as Jatin bhai mentioned, it was one of the first fund to be set up in the country in 1990s. So it has been a 3-decade-old journey, and across the journey of 3 decades, now we are setting up our 9th fund we already launched, and 10th fund is about to be announced, which is a seed fund. So we have seen all cycles. Initially, our focus was more on industrial companies, innovative companies. If you see the portfolio of the first or second companies, so they were more into manufacturing. They were doing something innovative either on the chemical side, engineering side, or even CNC machines. So those kind of projects we used to handle. And it was more like a gap financing for the equity because many projects they used to take loan from the bank and there was a gap in the equity side, promoter contribution. That's where we used to chip in. So that was the initial phase. But then I think IT sector caught up from 2000 onwards. IT sector was a buzz and VC was supposed to be very suitable for the IT sector. So our first fund we launched GFL IT fund in 2000. At that time, a lot of funds, I think IT was the buzzword across the country. Even SIDBI also set up, I was part of SIDBI at that time. We also set up a 100 crore national fund for software and IT industry. Similarly in Gujarat, IT industry, that fund was set up. Unfortunately, that fund didn't do very well because IT that way was very immature. In the sense, initial ideas were there in the IT industry. Entrepreneurs were also new, so they were also in learning phase. But over a period of time, if we see, then our last fund was set up in 2017, which was a startup fund, total focus on the tech startups. So there, if we see the quality of startups is much better. In last 2-3 years, what kind of startup and the investment we are seeing is now we are focused on deep tech. Also, even Gujarat, we are talking about deep tech. Earlier, even though, I also see a lot of companies, especially in Surat, people are from service industry. They are doing IT services. And gradually, they get idea on the product side. And they are moving into the startup space as a part of the big company, big IT services company. They are also venturing into products, which are supposed to be, venture fundable. As such, IT services is no more considered as a fundable by VC fund because that becomes a normal industry, IT services, normal software services. They are no more as a darling of the VC funds. So VC fund are looking at B2B SaaS products or other products maybe on the health tech side, agri-tech side. GFL as such is now focused on basically on the tech startup. That has been our learning for last 20 years. We are no more focused on the asset heavy businesses, but we are focused on totally on the tech startups. We want to invest, last year we have committed around 120 crore in last 18 months to around 12 startups. And I'm glad to inform you that even Surat also emerged as a good hub of startups. And we have around 5 startups, investing company, portfolio company in Surat. And we are committed around 50 crore to 5 startups in Surat.
Lovely.
So that shows the growth of the overall ecosystem in the Gujarat that even Surat is emerging, I think, second to Ahmedabad. But if we see the quality-wise, I feel that quality of entrepreneur is, I should not say that, even though I'm from Ahmedabad, quality of entrepreneur is somewhat different and somewhat refined in Surat as compared to even Ahmedabad.
Super.
So that way, I think quality of startups, ecosystem, the kind of events I've seen in the last 2-3 years, interest of the young generation, even the government, I think government has been proactive from very beginning. And last year, they also set up a very huge fund, Young Entrepreneur Fund, which is managed by GVFL. So we have now available corpus around 500 CR to be invested in startups. So you can assume that over a journey of 30 years, we had AUM of 1,000 crore. And last 2 years, we have available fund of 500 crore. So that is the kind of support even Gujarat is also, government is also willing to put into startup across the state of Gujarat. Apart from VC fund, there are so many schemes through Srujan scheme, through startup cell from Gujarat, government of Gujarat, IMD department, central government schemes. So that way I think plenty of push is being given by the government as well as funds are there. Hiran Bhai Mehta Sahib is there. He is bringing so many funds, so many activities are happening. Even outside funds are also now willing to look at the startups in Gujarat. Gift City is another initiative which is also giving, I think, good push to startups. And it's giving a good, I think, traction to startups in Gujarat. So I'll briefly stop here.
No, superb. I guess present is amazing. Future is, of course, geared up to be amazing. And we have this kind of bigger opportunity available right in the state that we are living. And I guess Surat startups, you mentioned Zero Cow Factory and Video SDK, which are there in your portfolio
That's right,
from
that's
this HQ as well.
So I said around 5 companies out
From
of value
Surat.
companies, 5 are from Surat.
Superb. No, amazing. I'm sure now those who are not aware, go deeper. They are one of the biggest resources that our state that has a presence with us, and a lot of opportunities are available for all the startups that who are trying to raise the fund as well. On that line, moving to Hiranmayji, and then I'll come back to you. Sir, a lot of people are saying that now we are trying to follow the Gujarat model. I guess it's there since the beginning. From the CM itself, and now people are following in India the Gujarat model. I guess in startup ecosystem, a lot of people are saying that from a student perspective and from a youngster support perspective, we are trying to do what Gujarat has been doing it and proving it. And you have the one who are pioneer of creating it, right from the student startup policy and converting the mindset of even campuses and other companies towards startup support system. Would love to hear your thoughts. What is happening? What is next?
So I think, thank you, Jatin and my fellow panelists. Like this session is centered around how do you see Gujarat in the landscape of India startup story in next decade to come. I'm sure you might have read the article last week in which it very clearly says that out of 5 top districts of the country, which pumps the maximum money into the public stock market, 2 comes from Gujarat. Ahmedabad is 4th, Surat is 5th. 5 top में 2 गुजरात की जिले हैं in terms of pumping into public market. Now the interesting thing is this is an indicator that a lot of people have appetite to support ideas, innovation apart from the other asset class. But somehow I think one thing like Kamal Bhai told, the evolving startup asset class is a very new phenomenon, and little bit of apprehension is around which need to be repelled, which need to be encouraged, and that is what exactly we are trying to do in the government. If I give you some numerical comparative to understand where we stand as a nation and the state and what we exactly trying to do at iHub, आज पूरे देश में लगभग 1 लाख स्टार्टअप्स हैं और मैं गुजरात की बात करूं तो 10,000 हैं, तो लगभग 10% की संख्या है. अगर प्लानिंग देखा जाए नीति आयोग की या स्टार्टअप इंडिया की, अगले 7 से 8 साल में लगभग भारत में 1 मिलियन होंगे और गुजरात में लगभग 90,000 से 1 लाख होंगे. नाउ वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉब्लम टू बी सॉल्व इन दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ स्केलिंग of supporting few startups to supporting nearly 100,000 startups in the state. We will be needing 3 things, and this is what exactly we are trying to do at iHub and Government of Gujarat. The first one is, I will summarize in 3 I's. The first I is all about incentives, which Mr. Kamal Bansal also mentioned. When we will have a trajectory journey of in next 8 to 10 years, 10,000 startups to 100,000 startups inside Gujarat, we must have various layers of incentive for them in terms of seed grant, in terms of equity venture funds, in terms of prototyping support, in terms of market access support. So government is doing 3-layer intervention in terms of putting public taxpayer money, both as a grant structure or debt to equity structures. So that's one thing that we are doing. And in last 5 years, the state government has put together around 1,000 crores of money in different kind of support systems across different ministries. The first I about incentive. The second I is all about initiatives or infrastructures. I really appreciate Rachit and his team at Ivy Growth, who actually took initiative a couple of years before to create a platform like this here in the city called Surat, right? So government is very strongly looking at platforms like this to support as an enabling role so that the efforts of private sector and government can synchronize and it can create an amplification factors. So it's all about supporting initiative and infrastructures. The third I is all about institutions and policies. Therein, we are playing a very vital role in terms of seeing what kind of regulatory support we can support to start up. Take the cases like drones and even aerospace and all domains. Many often, the startups are not like traditional industries where there are precedences of how policies enables the industry which exists before. The parody of this ecosystem of startups is many often, there are many domains where industry evolves first and policies and regulatory comes next. So therein government is putting a lot of efforts in seeing how can we learn from the evolving startup ecosystem and create parallel policy support so that you don't need to say ki red tapeism is killing more than supporting it, right? So if I sum up what we are trying to do in the government, the first I talked about incentives in terms of grant, debt, or equity capital. The second I is all about platforms, initiative, institutions. And the third I is all about policy, infrastructures, which can amplify these things. And when we are looking Gujarat as a model, Gujarat, by the way, stands #1 among all the states in last 4 years by Ministry of Commerce State Startup Ranking. But we should not be very complacency about what we are today. We have a long way to go. And while we will be moving 10x in terms of numbers, we also need to see how we are going in a qualitative circles also. And I think it's an exciting opportunity while GVFL is saying that they're operating 10 funds and more than half a dozen startups coming from Surat. I think we have great opportunities, but of course, despite we're leading many states in the startup policies and support system, yes, we need to catch the best practices across the globe also.
Superb. And I guess these two organizations, GVFL and iHub, I guess people like Hiranmay sir and Kamal sir, they are in the fundamental establishment of the entire state ecosystem journey as well. And this kind of experience, when our state is carrying, I guess India has a lot to take it from both of you, of course. And on that, still long way to go, of course, no doubt about it. I guess on that note, going to Jimish, I guess a lot of people talk about brain drain. I guess we are meeting Jimish in context of brain gain, where he came back to Gujarat. And shifting here, what was there in your mind and what kind of opportunity that you saw, what brought you thinking that let me go back to Gujarat, where you have been brought up and built upon, and started a micro VC fund and started an entire support system for startup. If you can give some insight to people.
Sure, Jatin. Thank you so much. I was predominantly a corporate banker for in last 2 decades, hardcore business development guy. I was there in Bangalore for last few years. Now, Bangalore is a city where you go in the cafe, the person who was there in 8 a.m., he leaves the same cafe at 8 p.m. and he does the startup for next 1 month, right? Now, while I was coming back to Ahmedabad, I thought 4 years back, I thought I will be the first one who will go to investor and say there is a startup like asset class where you should, take the exposure. But trust me, 5 out of 10 people where I met, they said I am an investor in X startup in Bangalore, X startup in Bombay, X startup in, So startup culture, is already there in India, in Gujarat, right? People know startup as asset class. It just, again, both the sirs have said that there is enough money in Gujarat. People should be aware about the startup and startup ecosystem, how they can start investing in the startup as asset class, right? Now, when I was in a bank, when you are a corporate banker, you handle the startup as an ecosystem. I myself have started investing in the startup in 2017-18. I learned there are a lot of pain points, identifying the startups, right? That's how, I thought that's a great chance, now that we should start something, at our own, which will help the investors to, identify the pain points, where all they should invest, where they shouldn't invest, right? So that's how we started, the investment journey. And again, by the way, our Gujarati mind hai, to business to hai hi andar, right? So somewhere you wanted to start your own business. So how you should start, that was the thing which thought of, because after spending 2 decades in the mid to senior role, having good salary, you are living the job, starting something your own, right? A lot of people will come back, ask the question. That was a journey, but finally it's the right place we are in. And thanks, I've shifted back to Ahmedabad. So I've seen, WeWork, you go to, any, co-working space in Bangalore around. Now you come to, Gujarat, you see the co-working space, amazing co-working space, you will not feel that this is, actually the earlier Gujarat. You have a lot of infrastructure in place, where you can start the business. A lot of, policies are being made. Hiranmay sir said, I was also part of that meeting where government of Gujarat is, working extensively, in terms of improving the policy, how they can support, to the startup. They themselves have taken the feedback from the startup, what are the pain points and how we can help, right? So this is the right time, to be in the state where, you can contribute something, right? So couple of things just to highlight. So so as everyone know that startup is, the high, risk, high reward kind of, item, right? So to mitigate, that risk, we also started something, our proprietary model of like a mutual fund, like startup investment, where people can start with a small amount and gradually they become an angel investor. Instead of putting everything from the very first day, how, you can get something which will start from the smaller amount and then you can start investing, right? So that is, going very well. And to our surprise, we have a maximum investor from the Gujarat now.
Okay.
Right? Lot of investors have started investing, and thanks to Shark Tank. I mean, you don't need to, now pitch a lot about startup, because startup is also, Shark Tank is also saw a lot of things, for we as a, micro VC angel investor, that what is startup all about.
Superb. So I guess a lot of groundwork that has been done by these two specialty organizations that is helping not only you, but I guess across the state as well, that the fundamental thing that has been done by them for so many years, that ecosystem is helping. And from your statement, it says that, people are more open, more flexible, most agile people that are there sitting right now, including these two gentlemen as well. Thanks, Jimlesh.
And just to add, so I mean, a lot of our friends are here, who are also in the similar industries, right? So now you see Gujarat has come at a stage where, most of the VCs have started having their office in Gujarat as well, right? They also see the lot of potential here in Gujarat.
And I guess from banking sector, I'm seeing you, a lot of people moving to this industry as much as possible, I guess, and that will empower the ecosystem at large. Moving from three amazing Gujarat-based people to coming this side. Ricky is here and Samir is here. Ricky, large companies, a lot of people are experiencing what you're doing, but they might not be aware that these guys are you. You are the one who are creating this big size campaigns and building strategies for them to grow and penetrate. I guess when they did a Pro Kabaddi thing, they had the much higher viewers than the FIFA initial launch as well. 22 million on the day one, with a sports which was not that popular, and now people are aware about Pro Kabaddi a big as well, and a lot of other clients too. What happens, how it happens, and what are the things happening around Gujarat as well? If you can combine both and share, happy to hear.
So basically, once you get funded, then you guys come to us for us to spend money on Meta. So basically, we create the whole funnel. So the whole idea why we are in Gujarat is, I think as people, I think the panelists there have said, right, like there's a lot of money here and a lot of young entrepreneurs who are starting their own D2C brands, starting like an app-based business. So so basically what happens is they come to us and then we take them to market. So when we say we take them to market is we help them advertise on Facebook, Google, all the other platforms. Plus, for example, if they want to export globally, so we've created an entire export narrative where we have a logistics arm where we can ship the product from India or also have the product there. Plus, from payments to any solutions, we help them grow. So the whole idea is to take Surat to global. Just to give you a background how Surat is critical to us. So we exhibit in almost every conference in US, and this is the first time we are exhibiting in India. And the first place we selected is Surat. So in a sense, for us, we see a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of manufacturing happening in Surat. So the whole idea is take these manufacturers. For example, it can be garments, it can be like dietary supplements, and those are like hot selling properties in US. And the easiest way to do it is through D2C, like create your own D2C brand. And from like, if you have the manufacturing capability, we will just literally take you from there and build you a D2C startup and then fund you also if we see growth. So we want to like empower a lot of these young people and take them global. So that's where we come in.
I guess it's great to see that, strategizing the digital thing, digital management, digital marketing, digital sales, everything comes under one hood and you take care of the growth. And I guess agencies like you are doing great, and that's where what Meta is trying to experts and people like you on the ground. So name of the company is Blink Digital, just to mention. So all of you who would love to go deeper, you can Google it, and then they are expert around it. Samir, this kind of agency that you're aligned with, and naturally when Meta and them, you guys are working together, which means there is very super amazing experience coming on the ground for startups to grow. How Meta seeing it, what Meta thought when they realized that, hey, we want to support them from end to end, which country to go, taking care of logistics, even warehousing part as well. What is there in the back end of the mind and how that activity happens and how maybe Gujarat can utilize that expertise as well.
Thanks. First of all, a big shout out to everyone. I think this event is looking to be very, very promising, huge. So great. Congrats on that. So we as Meta, Facebook, as everyone knows us, the thought process is very simple. We want to take the Bharat to global journey. We really believe in Gujarat. This is the first time we're doing a representation in India, which is in Gujarat, in Surat. The idea is to enable the ecosystem. So you have funded, you get money, then you come to people, you understand, then Blink comes up with a strategy, you know. But how do we want to enable the ecosystem? Today, the idea is we're not telling you to do ads, right? We are telling you to give an ecosystem which will help you grow your business. So you guys know your product, right? For example, you might be a garment exporter, you might be an IT services guy, you might be an apps business. You're doing great in India, you have a good business, but why not take the business global? That helps you in multiple ways. Just to give you a perspective, 8 billion people is the total population of the world. Out of that, 4 billion people are daily active on Facebook platform, which basically means Facebook and Insta. So half of the world's Janta is on our platform, which basically means there's a big market out there. Why not take your products to them? So we're not talking about hard products, we're talking about software services also. But we're trying to give you an ecosystem where you say, I have a great product, I have this great lehenga choli, I'm selling great in India. How do I take it to the next level? That is where we start coming in. Then people like Blink Digital help us partner there. We're trying to give you an ecosystem where end-to-end services will be there. We'll be able to help you get digital marketing on the right front. But then if you need help with logistics, we'll help you connect with the partners who can do your logistics, warehousing, compliance. So idea is to enable the advertiser so that he can just focus on the right product. He can make sure his product is the best. And then everything else is done by partners like Blink Digital and other agencies who can help us enable that. So the idea is we really believe in the fact that we've seen that people are doing it, but it's still very unorganized. Hence, we've started a motion, which is the Bharat to Global motion, where we're trying to make it in a very scientific manner, give you support at each and every stage so that today's advertiser can actually leverage the power of a global economy, right? So you have, if you right now talk about the exports market, roughly estimation is out of the exports we do, 70% is in America.
Okay.
Why not? And we have products like very Indian, Multani Mitti, Makhana, they're very Indian origin products. So why not take these products to the American market where you can play on multiple factors. You can play on the price factor, you can play on experience. So there's a big economy out there where I think we're trying to get the story from India to global.
And I guess insight coming from organization like you makes a lot of value addition as well. I was coming to you only, Ricky.
To add to what he's saying is that, look, we have a lot of Indian manufacturers manufacturing and sending things in bulk.
You can just keep it closer.
So there are a lot of Indian manufacturers who are exporting to the world in bulk. What we can empower them is literally build your own brand. So you are just not an exporter, you are a brand. There is equity to be made. There is, for example, like you can list in public market. There'll be a lot of value that you create. Also, Meta is the biggest discovery platform. So building a brand now is much easier. So like, for example, there is a client of mine in US selling ashwagandha and spending around $2 million and making $4 million a month. And he's a guy who's importing from India. So what we want to do is get to the source for products that are selling in US and like take them to the world and like build startups, build equity, build and like connect them to like the 4 billion people that's there in the world, right? So not just become like a bulk exporter, but start building a brand around it. So that's the whole idea.
And I'm glad that you become a very super specialist into the futuristic world.
So just to give you a background, we work with around 2,500 US clients. Okay. So that gives us great insights on what's selling in US. And the whole idea is, so just to give you some background, these people used to import from China. So a lot of the stuff, right? Now what has happened is because of US restrictions in like to China, new markets are opening up. That's why the focus now is shifted to India. That's why all this like taking Bharat to global is a new chapter, made in India is a new chapter. So the whole idea is we need to first identify products that are selling in India and then taking them, like building them as a startup and then building the whole ecosystem and taking them to US. So in terms of insights on how like US market works, European market works, Australian market works, we are there. And if you have the capability to manufacture, we'll just take you to global.
Superb. So anybody doing good in India, you are the guys to talk to, I guess. And I'm glad this kind of collaborations are happening on a macro angle. And when we talk about collaboration, I guess a lot of things happening at our end as well, like with A4X initiative and all. I guess GVFL is doing a lot of collaboration, trying to pull everybody together and explore, how together also can be part of startups, whether it context of investments or any kind of other partnerships. And similar things are happening at iHub very aggressively as well since last few years. What is happening in the collaboration aspect? How you are seeing that collaboration going forward? I think it's very pumped up since last few years. And we are super active in that game. If you can give insight on what is happening, what is the objective, how are we going ahead from that perspective?
So in last 6 months, we have taken new initiative that we are trying to move into the acceleration side. I think that is now lot many incubators are realizing that more than incubation, I think it is acceleration, hand-holding. Acceleration, nothing but hand-holding the startup, very early stage startups. So that's what, as a GFL, we have taken a decision to move into the seed stage startups. Because as a VC fund, we invest with a, say, 1 million check onwards. Say USD 1 million means 8 to 10 crore. But we find that many startups are not mature enough to absorb that kind of money. Or we end up, say, giving high value to the startup which are not at that stage. So there are many startups which we are not able to give money because of this ticket size of, say, 8 to 10 CR. Looking into that, we have set up a seed fund. And we are partnering with a lot of accelerators, global as well as domestic accelerators. So where we put them into acceleration, give them the seed check of 2 to 3 crore. And then if we can fine tune and make the journey easy in terms of getting the support of mentors, experts, and also looking at the business plan from the initial stage. Because if we, as a VC, once we see the startup, they have already spent a lot of money, spent a couple of crores, and they have already taken a path. And many startups are not, many entrepreneurs are not that experienced. So they are out of college or they don't have much domain experience. So by putting acceleration, we are trying to see that take help of domain experts who can add value in terms of GTM, in terms of fine-tuning the business model, in terms of business model either go B2B, B2C, or B2B, B2C, or what kind of territory, geography. So those kind of inputs, I think if we add in the initial stage, then we can save a lot of money and we can, I think, avoid a lot of failures. Because early stage is where they need maximum hand holding. So instead of giving money larger check, we want to get involved. That's what we have taken initiative last 6 months. And possibly this year we'll see the fruit of that initiative. That is one. Secondly, we have also launched, as Jatin Bhai said, a new initiative called A4X.Fund, where we are trying to bring the lot of angel investors from Gujarat, outside Gujarat on our platform, other micro VCs, other investors from outside Gujarat, and showcase our investments and get them engaged at our seed fund level. So that's where I think startup also get access to more sources of funding, more expertise, not only GFL, but outside Gujarat also investors who can get engaged with us. And even for subsequent round of funding, that gives a platform to raise subsequent funding. So that's the 2-3 new initiatives. So GFL is now positioned more like end-to-end VC firm. Starting from seed stage, we want to work with the incubators and see if they're good companies, put them into acceleration, give them seed check of say 2 to 3 CR, and once they mature, then we have a proper VC fund where we can invest say 8 to 10 crore. So that's how we want to be with the journey of startup from say seed stage to early growth stage. And then subsequent, I think most of our companies are able to raise, once we are there, then I think at least 70% of we target that at least 70% of them raise Series A money. And with GFL in place as a VC fund, such an experienced fund is there, I think other VCs also get a lot of conviction. And because even if you see the publicly limited company, a lot of IPOs, if already there is a PE fund, then investor get a confidence that, okay, certain level of corporate governance, certain level of practices are there in the company. So once a VC is there in the early journey, then getting PE also become easy. Once a private equity fund is there, then exit through IPO also becomes easy. So Gujarati people, as Bhai Sahab mentioned, people are expert in putting money to capital market. But I think slowly they also get taste of the startup investing also. If we see good success stories from startup to IPO, then I think people will start investing at least 10 to 20% of their money into startups. And then I think our actual vision will fructify and startup will also get a lot of benefit from this kind of, say, ecosystem.
I guess I'm glad that you opened the door for everybody beyond your LPs, that hey, join along and let's build the ecosystem together. So I now started calling you, you don't know, but I started calling you father of Gujarat startup ecosystem. And when Hiranmayji is there, he's a mother of Gujarat startup ecosystem. They take care of from, even while the birth is going to happen of the startups as well, and then grow them together as well. Sir, how the mother role is happening, and a lot of collaborations are happening for the kids, that is, or kids coming out of it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jatin. I think, let me explain you what exactly we are trying to solve. अगर आपको सूरत से दिल्ली जाना है, सबसे फास्टेस्ट तरीके से आप क्या करोगे? एयरपोर्ट से एयरपोर्ट जाओगे, सूरत एयरपोर्ट से फ्लाइट बुक करोगे और दिल्ली जाओगे. बट अगर आपको सूरत से चांद में जाना है तो क्या करोगे आप? ऑब्वियसली बोइंग 777 तो काम नहीं आएगा. यू नीड अ रॉकेट like Apollo 16 or 18, right? The difference between the two ecosystem of a moderate growth company, less technology intensity, and a high growth company with higher technology intensity, the only difference is the thrust. And the thrust comes from the ecosystem. And no ecosystem has one or two components which can give the complete thrust, right? So that is what we are trying to solve in the government. We realized that, our primary job is to, can we bring people together who have mutually complementary skills to create adequate thrust, so that rather than running 5 kilometers on the runway and flying, you can have a vertical takeoff, right? And to optimize that thrust, what we are trying to see is who are those complementary players? How can we bring them together? And by the way, all of you know, we are very good as individual players in this country, but collaboration has never been a very, very success matrix how our individual characteristics looks like. So one thing that we have decided in the government, and recently what we are doing is, we have a scheme in which we are funding collaborative projects. I was talking to Jimmy just now. I was talking to our friend from C Fund the other day. Our agenda is not to support initiative in isolation. Our agenda in the system top-down is, can we let few people come together and solve problem? So for example, even GVFL is working with a lot of accelerators. We are working with multilateral departments, and even we are talking to Department of Defense Israel day before. How can we take both defense startups and civilian startups and do a cross-border linkages? So simple इतना है कि government की role जो है ना वो driver का नहीं है, government का role enabler का है. And we have realized that very well. The more we step in as a driver, probably we'll kill more innovation than enabling them. And hence we have taken a back seat. We have seen there are great people like all our friends here who have some strong value proposition to offer. What we are trying to see is to create a cementing linkages and glue by giving them incentive, motivation, infrastructure to see that they can come together and create value. Of course, I mean, the simple thing is how can we create a mechanism where we can have optimal thrust so that the idea to enterprise journey doesn't take more than 1,000 days to validate $1 million of revenue. Because if that is not happening, something is leaking in the ecosystem, and the leakage is primarily because of less of collaborations.
So like when father and mother like yours are becoming very open and bringing everybody together, I guess in ecosystem, people like Jimlesh, Shamir and Ricky will gonna thrive and take the journey of ecosystem much larger. Maybe last message from everyone. What could be the one message for people who are investors? Maybe one line message, and one line message for startups who are sitting here. Starting from you, and then we'll take it till then, and then we'll close. But keep it very rapid fire. Yeah.
Sure. So for investor, I would say this is the right time, like events like this, which is happening in this Surat city. I mean, this is eye-opener for anyone and everyone. This is the third season. This is the most successful, season. I'm sure, people will say the same words, by the time, they go back to their, own home. About startup, again, this is the right time. There are multiple stakeholders in the, state of Gujarat and the country. Everyone like us, we are looking for the good business. There is enough liquidity. Only thing we are looking for the good business. So please, if you have any idea, approach anyone and everyone, like, the incubator, like iHub and multiple incubator, we have in the state and the country. Please, feel free to reach out to anyone in the country, anyone in the, state, and please, talk about your idea. Thank you.
I'm giving the mic to Samir first and then come at the last. Yeah.
I just want to leave everyone with a very small number. We did a survey, it's a commissioned survey, and what we realized is 48% of the people, मतलब आधे लोग जिनका सर्वे हुआ था, उन्होंने बाहर के ब्रांड से परचेज किया है. So the idea is that half of the people have already bought from a business which is cross-border. So that means demand is there. Now all we have to do is put our product right in front of the user so that actually our product can sell. More details, we're going to talk about it on the 6th floor, but if you want, we can surely set up a chat also.
Super. Vicky, one message to investor and one message to startup.
I think startups, I like to say that world is an oyster. We don't live in we are in a borderless world. You can not just think of India. India is a great market in terms of think of the world. And trust me, making money in dollars is 80x more exciting. In terms of investors, I think we ourselves have a course fund and we invest. Idea is that as people said that as India gets more mature, people like us will get into starting into equity, like private equity and all that stuff. I think we should be in the forefront of empowering the startup ecosystem and investing, because when it goes into IPO, we make 40x.
Super. I'm glad that both of you said that you started the journey from Surat today in context of talking about it. It says that Gujarat is leading a lot of things in startup ecosystem.
So yesterday we had like a session with Meta in one of the hotels, and we see young people making lehengas. There was a diamond eco startup trying to get global. So the whole idea is that it's a business mentality, right? So dhanda ka mentality, and people who want to make money will want to find new avenues to make money.
Totally.
And that's where we come in.
Naturally, and I'm sure journey is far long to go, and people are going to get a lot of support from organizations like you. Coming back to
I'll just add one point, Jatin. I think those from the investment side, we are grateful for you that you are putting money into ideas, but we'll be really more grateful if you can also start spending your time and experiences to guide people how to be investable. Because today, one of the problems that we are struggling to see is, money probably is available with 10 people, but the deeper expertise and experiences that you earn by doing certain things, if that can be disseminated, that can be proliferated and shared with early stage people, I think the problem more is not about access to money. The problem is, do you become eligible to access to money? आप लायक हैं क्या आपको पैसा मिलने के लिए? That is a bigger problem to solve. And if you can orient that kind of approach by the founders or grooming them by pulling in experiences, that will be a great thing.
I just want to add to what he said. I think as a fund, we reach out to a lot of people, and a lot of people end up looking at money as quick money and not being government compliant. So it's very important that you follow compliance, because the money is not in the cash that you make now. The money is in the equity market where it gets multiple. So when you fall, for example, we ourselves want to do an IPO and we want to do it on main board, and we follow all government rules, and people, when we talk to merchant bankers, they are surprised at how compliant we are. And they say that you can go to the equity market in the next 3 months. And they keep giving us examples of how people are not very compliant, and that's where the challenge is. True.
And I guess that's where message is going louder, that don't do tax saving activity, be government compliance, pay taxes, grow business, scale it, and multiply your value and get the net worth. Coming to the father.
So I'll like to give, if we have termed as father, so I'll give advice that only. So as a startup, consider VC money as your own money. Don't consider that it's a free money and we can spend it the way we want. That is one. Secondly, go for value, not valuation. Because even now I see that people ask for very high valuation, and because I don't want to dilute more, or I want to raise more money. If you raise larger money, you waste more money. So best is to raise smaller checks in small chunks, step by step, and then you grow the business. We're just running after valuation is of no value because it's all paper valuation. We have seen the case of Baizu. At one time it was valued 22 billion, now it is valued almost zero. So I think if we leave the check just because of valuation, that is not a right decision. Right now you can go with the right investor who has the right approach, who has a long-term vision, whose vision matches with you. He should not also be he should not be trying to squeeze you, that is also fine. But at the same time, you should also think in mind that he is also there to make money. At some point in time, if you are asking valuation, which is going to be there after 5 years down the line, and you are asking valuation now, I think that is a wrong decision. From investor point of view, I think investors, I don't know what advice to give to investors. The only thing is that they also think for long term. Work, as Hiranand said, work closely with the startup. Don't think that it's just a lottery which you can make. It's a patience business. So you have to wait for long term. You have to say, invest in the business. We are investing. It's not a lottery like IPO. Today you are putting money, tomorrow you will get multiple return. It's not like that. So it's a tough business. Building a business is not easy. Generally, it takes 5 to 10 years to build up the business. So we have to keep that kind of vision in mind.
Super.
That's all.
Thank you so much for the closing remark, I guess. Super amazing, meaningful conversation. Don't hesitate and don't miss out to reach out to these people and other speakers that are going to come as well. Generally, people hesitate. So I always say, closing with the remark, किसी से कोई चीज़ मांगो तो ऐसे मांगो कि जैसे अपने बाप की हो. नहीं मिले तो सोच लेना वैसे भी कहाँ अपने बाप की थी. Thank you so much, signing off with these amazing speakers. Thank you so much, and huge applause for all the speakers out there. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much to each one of you for sharing such valuable insights. Please be on the stage as we would like to felicitate you for your valuable insights and experience sharing. And I would like to call Mr. Pratik Toshniwal from IVY Growth Associates to please felicitate our moderators and speakers for this panel discussion. Mr. Jatin Kataria, Mr. Kamal Bansal, Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta, Mr. Ricky Agarwal, Mr. Jimish Kapadia, and Mr. Sameer.
Pratik, we'll take a last group photo. Last group photo before you leave. Everybody please come join for a photograph.
सूरत के हीरों को मिलकर तराशी
Vadhwani Foundation's masterclass, their workshop is happening in the Iris, that is on the 6th floor. So those who ever want to attend can please show your presence there. Also, this mega event wouldn't have been possible without our sponsors and co-hosts. So I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude towards our co-host, Steamhouse, title sponsor, Ayani Diamond, Platinum sponsors, One Space, Rap to Earn, Spread, Build It India, Zebra Learn, Avime Herbals, Gold sponsors, Regrip, Curate, Decimal, Council-Wise, MVT, 11ZA, Lexicon Legal, Turj Film Studios, The Laundry House, Indulge Concierge, Sandcup Design, Curlin Professional, Khushi, the Juno Moneta Tower, My Value Trip, Print Bricks, Blink Digital, Vadhwani Foundation, Grip Invest, 360 Degree Eye, Arham Share, and Tech Cloud. Thank you to each one of you, because without you, this event wouldn't have been possible. All right then. Next up is a crucial discussion on building global corridors for the next startup ecosystem. We'll examine the significant role of that international partnerships and networks play in the growth of startups. These global corridors provide startups with the opportunity to tap onto the new markets, gain international exposure, and collaborate with the diverse range of stakeholders. This panel will provide insights into the strategies for building and sustaining these international relationships and the impact they can have on the startup's trajectory. So for deeper insights on the topic, kindly help me welcome our panelists for the next panel discussion, Mr. Anshuman Sinha, co-founder of Startup Steroid,